Morning. This morning we're preparing for a barbecue. We're going to start by making some fresh burgers. So we've got some amazing rump steak here from Etherington Meats and a little bit of bacon. We're looking at about an 80% meat to 20% fat ratio. So what we're going to do, the first thing we need to do is we need to get this meat diced up. So as normal, we've got everything in our place, mise en place. So we've got the meat ready, our boards ready, everything's secure. We're all ready to go. Our machines are ready to go. We'll look at those a little later. First of all, we're going to look at prepping our meats. We need to chop it down a little bit. Just make sure we take out any undesirables, any sinews that we don't want in there. But we will be mincing this, so I'm not going to be too worried about too much. It's a lovely, lovely piece of meat. I'm just going to cut it into manageable pieces. Like so, back on the tray. It's always better when you're making homemade burgers is that you actually mince the meat yourself. If you haven't got a mincer, then maybe a food processor, but don't take it all the way to a fine pate. You want to give it some coarseness in it. It needs to have a little bit of grain. So there's the meat all chopped up. I'm going to leave that little bit of fat on there, which is lovely, which will help with our ratio of fat to meat. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to add any salt into this because I'm going to add some bacon. So the bacon obviously has got salt content already. So here we go, some offcuts and bits and bobs of bacon. So again, we're using up, that's what we like to do. Just going to roughly chop that all up. Then that's all going to go in the mincer with the beef. So there we go. Get the last little bit off. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put that in a freezer for about 15-20 minutes just to firm up. Then it'll go through, it'll mince better through the machine. Right, while we're waiting for the meat to freeze, semi-freeze a little bit, we're going to carry on with the vegetables. We're going to marinate some vegetables that are going to go onto the barbecue. So we've got some courgettes, yellow and green, bit of thyme, bit of garlic, and some peppers that I've already roasted in the oven. Really, really high temperature, and then put them straight into a bowl with cling film, and then it'll be easy to take the skins off. We'll come to those in a minute. So let's start with our courgettes. Going to top and tail. Then we'll just hit some nice slices, not too thick, not too thin. Same with the green. Letting the knife do the work. Okay, now we're going to lay the courgette down on the tray. Going to give it a little salting. We'll leave that for about 4 or 5 minutes just while we do the peppers. So I'm going to use some gloves for these. You don't have to use gloves, it's just make it a little easier for me to take the skins off. So they're still warm, they're not hot. Obviously putting the cling film on is almost just finish them off with steam, but roasting it high, you can just pinch the skin off. It just makes them a bit more edible, taking the skin off. Once I've got most of the skin off, I'm always just rubbing it off. It doesn't matter if there's a few little bits there. And we're just going to pop the inside. There should be a bit of moisture inside. I'm just going to rip it open in half and the seeds will come out. Okay, just going to keep them relatively whole as well. Just get most of the seeds out, so that's one. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make the marinade for the vegetables to go in. They're going to go in the marinade for about 24 hours. So I'm just going to take some garlic, We're just going to peel the garlic. So, garlic and thyme. So let's get the thyme first. We're just going to chop the thyme. Don't have to get it very small. We just want to break the leaves up so it smell comes through lovely. Into the bowl. I'm just going to cut the garlic in half. Okay, and then just really fine slices. So the flavour of the garlic is coming out, but we've still got some pieces of garlic in the dish, and obviously when they go on the barbecue they're going to give that lovely smoky caramelised taste to the vegetables. Okay, so we've got the garlic and the thyme in here. To that we're going to add a little bit of sweet chilli. We're going to add a little bit of rice wine vinegar. Get that a little mix round. We're making this style of dressing really. So that's the garlic, the thyme, the sweet chilli, the vinegar in there. Then we're going to add about 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil. I'm just going to have a little taste of that, just to make sure it's not too acidic. That's lovely. Beautiful. So, there's our marinade. We've got our vegetables here. So we're now going to marinate our vegetables ready to be barbecued. So we're going to be marinating them for about 24 hours. Now, I haven't added any salt to that, obviously because we've salted the courgettes, the vegetables already. So it's quite simply is going to just really give them a good coat of the marinade individually. We can put a few in if we like. Let's get a load in. So we'll pour it over the top afterwards as well. Just get them a little coating of the mixture. And get them into the tray. Like so. Same with the peppers. Marinate the peppers. And then pour the rest all over. Lovely. And that will marinate for about 24 hours. So our beef is semi-frozen now. So now we're going to move on to mincing it. So we're going to, obviously working safe all the time. This is obviously a dangerous bit of kit. If you get, obviously there's a guard so you can't put your fingers right down into it. But we just have to err on the side of caution, be careful, safety first. So all of the meat on the top tray. And we're going to do a double mince on this. So, I've got my plunger, turn it on, meat there. Just going to feed the meat into the mincing attachment. The bacon's going through there as well, which is going to give us our seasoning. so all of the meat's gone through, but we leave it on for a little bit because it's still taking some time for the meat to come through. See, it's still coming through. We're not going to turn it off until it's almost stopped. Okay, that's our first mince. Now we just repeat it, but instead of having chunks of meat, we've got the mince. The bacon's obviously already started to mix in with that. Okay, so there we go. That's double minced. Okay, so you can see it's gone a slightly paler colour as it's gone through again, as the fats all break right down. And then we have it. So next we're going to shake this up, but we're going to let this rest for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, the meat's been resting for about 10 minutes now, and what I've done is I've separated it into 8 equal pieces. And now we're going to press the burgers. So, just going to use a standard cutter. You can use a burger press, but this is easier, just as easy rather. So we're just going to push the meat into there. Now you can use a spoon. I'm using gloves, so it's a little easier. I can use my hands, and then really, that's it. One. Okay, then I'll do the rest of them, and then the next time you'll see these bad boys, they'll be on a barbecue.